Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Lift Shit Get Banged podcast. You are joined by the fabulous Coach Ben and I. And today we're going to be talking about if you are the unlucky bugger that has missed out on joining us for round 18 of Blitz Your Bits. Some really cool ways that we can get the ball rolling and get you set up and ready and give you a bit of a head start if you are planning on joining us for the next round.
Yes, it's almost our 3-year anniversary. Me and Rachel were saying this on yesterday's live. September's intake will be our 3-year anniversary.
I can't believe we've been doing this for 3 years.
And I don't think that quite marries up in terms of numbers, but that must be because we've done like some 6-week ones, some 8-week ones. We've had little breaks here and there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Did we also not do a 12-week one at some point? We did like a continued
Yes, we
round.
did. Yeah, we did. But yeah, 3 years of Blitz.
3 years of Blitz. 3 years of coaching you fabulous bunch. But if you did miss out on the last round, it's okay. We got your back. We got you covered. We're going to go through some really exciting things that you can do today to get the ball rolling and, like I said, get you set up for a successful round 19. And now I get it, because we are balls deep in the summer months now. We have just, unfortunately, been booted out of the World Cup. So hopefully that means less frequent pub visits or crisps
We
and
should have
beers
just spoke
in the
about
evening.
the World Cup for half an hour. I'm sure people would have loved that.
I know. I mean, what's your verdict? What did you think? Let's digress.
I'm not going to do what I've heard everyone do, which is pretend that they could have done a better job than the manager.
I mean, I only get into football every 4 years.
I was gutted though. I loved football growing up. Don't even follow it anymore. But as soon as we were in the semi-final, I was like, hang on, okay, maybe this is no, we're getting that taste of hope again. And then I was gutted.
I think we all were, mainly just for the vibes. I'll be completely honest. I don't give a flying fuck about football or the game. I'm just here for the vibes. If it means I can be in a pub garden shouting at a screen, I'm here for it.
And there was talks, weren't there, of like a national bank holiday if England won the World Cup. And so I think.
But we're
everyone started to
self-employed, so we don't get
excited.
bank holidays anyway.
Yeah, it would have been working anyway. So,
So it means nothing.
It wouldn't make a difference to us.
It means nothing to us.
Yeah.
Never mind. But as we are deep into the summer, and even if you are not an avid football supporter, and maybe you've got upcoming events, we've still got festival season going down, we might have summer holidays approaching, and you might be thinking, well, this is it. I might as well just wait until September now when I've got a clean slate to get started. We're going to give you some reasons as to why you don't want to do that and actually how it's going to hinder your kickstart in September. And some really cool things that you can crack on with in the meantime.
Yeah, we see it a lot, don't we? So many different examples, but it's perfectionism wrapped up in another format. And we get it. We do it don't speak for you. I do it in other formats, but it's so easy to think I missed out on Blitz, or it doesn't even have to be Blitz. It could be I didn't quite do what I wanted to do pre-summer. What's the point? It's summer now. Like, I want to relax, I want to enjoy myself. And it makes two assumptions. It makes the assumption that we're waiting for the perfect time again in September, which, have you ever worked with anyone, Sophia, that there's been a perfect time and everything has gone perfectly, and that waiting for that perfect time was the right thing to do?
Probably not. Single sod.
And it also makes the assumption that we can't enjoy ourselves during the process of trying to pursue fat loss and health and strength and muscle. And that's a habit that we try and help you guys break.
Which you absolutely can. And even sharing some of my own personal journey here across the last 2 months, I decided that I wanted to get a little bit leaner over summer and dropped 3.5 kilos. I did this whilst going out and having a drink every single weekend, whilst avidly watching the football. I've been to festivals, I've been to events, I've been on holiday. Yeah, every day. I've just been on the sesh. That's how I've made it happen. I haven't eaten in 3 months. No, I'm joking.
It's called calorie banking. You save all your calories for alcohol at the end of the day.
I haven't eaten in weeks, guys. No. But on a serious note, you can do both. And even if we're not going balls deep into fat loss right away, there are still things that we can do to get you in a really strong position for if and when you are ready to pursue fat loss with the support of your coach. And the first thing that we want to talk about today, and it's interesting because we often look at training and fat loss as two separate entities because we don't go into the gym to burn calories. We go into the gym so that we can feel strong, so that we can prioritize our fitness, so we can build muscles, so we can look after our cardiovascular health. And this, in fact, is a completely separate entity to fat loss in itself. So even if you've got a really busy social calendar and your thought process is, actually, I don't really want to do fat loss for the next couple of months and I kind of want to wait until September until I get going, which is fine if that's not your priority. But it doesn't mean that you can't still set a really good foundation with getting into the gym.
Yeah, and I think the sad reality for a lot of us, if you don't enjoy training and walking and eating, having certain eating habits, is that they're not just for phases. They're not just for fat loss. Like the stuff that we're going to dive into around training, around getting out for a walk, around increasing your protein intake should be for life. They're not just for phases. They're not just for fat loss. Like I think so many of us find in adulthood, and I know I would have if I didn't do any of this stuff and I didn't do this for a living, massively under eating protein, never using our bodies, never pushing our bodies to do anything strenuous or hard, not having enough muscle, not being strong enough, not being mobile enough, because we sit at a desk, we don't have a single fruit or vegetable in sight. Protein is something that we think just comes in tubs in the health and wellness section of the supermarket or online, and it shouldn't be. These are habits that as an adult we should just have and we need to have to not feel 20, 30 years older than the age on our birth certificate.
These are staples that we want to keep in the mix regardless of your goals, to prioritize longevity of your health and prioritizing your fitness as a whole. So number one, training, being able to prioritize getting into the gym, or if you are training from home, both really good options. We have available for you guys a series of programs that you can dip into over on the Bits app. Now, if you are an existing client of ours, you have a cheeky discount on the monthly subscription. Otherwise, you can head over to the Henley Fitness website to get yourself signed up, or both of us have a link in our bio on our Instagram. So you can find Ben at Ben Henley Fitness on Instagram and me at Sophia Henley Fitness on Instagram. And we've both got links to sign up to the Bits app in there. But when we delve into the Bits app, you will have a full series of 2, 3, 4, 5-day training programs that you can either pick up from home, in the gym. We also have a couple of programs in there which you can alternate between the two, and each of those programs have different focuses. So we've got the fabulous Move program, which is programmed by Ben. Ben, do you want to explain a little bit about what the Move program consists of and why it is so fabulous?
It came about from the way that I train now. And I think I'm the only one that trains like this out of me, you and Rachel. But I started to label my training as just wanting to move a little bit better about 2-3 years ago. I went from kind of like bodybuilding style of training where there was no mobility element at all, no cardio element, just I want to get as heavily muscled as possible, to actually now I'm an online coach. I sit at a desk all day. I have really tight hips, a really tight lower back, and I'm starting to feel my age. So Move is how I train. It's a foundation of strength training. There is a foundation of hypertrophy training in there that's going to help us build muscle, but there is also a little bit of cardio at the end of each session, which it's nothing crazy. It's that, it ticks that box of we should probably do some kind of cardio for our heart health. And it also has a mobility element as well, which is, again, just about being able to move better and being able to do what we're trying to do in the gym better, as well as go through day-to-day life. So I'm not trying to make out that I'm ancient. I'm not. I'm the youngest one at Henley Fitness.
You're literally
even though I
younger
don't
than
feel
me.
it, but I can certainly feel a difference in my body from when I was bodybuilding in my early 20s. So it's just about kind of covering all bases to be able to move and feel better.
Yeah, I think your program actually is a really great entry-level program for, like you said, just covering all grounds and ticking all the boxes of a little bit of everything. And we've also in there got the Wiggle Your Bits program, which focuses predominantly on strength work, but is also really good for beginners. So anybody who has literally never sniffed a dumbbell in their life, that is the one for you. Now, the Build and Strong program. So Move is my program. Mine is focused on if you want to build big, juicy shoulders and a fat ass. That's what we're going for. So there's a lot of hypertrophy work in there, which is basically making your muscles bigger, But also there is an element of cardio work and mobility work. So if you want to build a big butt, big shoulders, you want your abs to be popping, but you also don't want to feel like a little prawn, that is going to be the one for you. It's a little bit more advanced. So the kind of baseline recommendation is 3 to 4 days of training a week. So if you can't tick those boxes, probably not the right split for you. And I'd advise to go and check out the Move or Wiggle Your Bits programs instead. Now, the final program is the Strong program. So that is the Fabulous Rachel's. Once again, it's a little bit more advanced and requires a baseline knowledge of being able to do the key compound lifts. So your squat, your hip thrust, your pull up, your push up, bench press. What have I missed out there, Ben? I've missed something out. Bench, pull up,
hip thrusts.
Hip thrust. There we go. We got them all. And it's a really good one for increasing your power and your strength in those particular movements. So if you've got to a point where you've been training on your own, you're pretty good at covering kind of the baselines there, but you want to really test the waters and push out of your comfort zone in those key lifts, that is going to be the program to you. So even if you did miss out on the next round, you have so many options available to you to get kickstarted with training. And if you can get in a fantastic flow of doing even just 1 to 2 sessions a week, you are going to be in a much stronger position for when you do decide to layer things in later on down the line.
I think the most important message that we wanted to give you guys in this episode was just pick one.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the perfect program for you. Out of those descriptions, which one took your fancy? Pick it and just focus on sticking to it for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And we can get so wrapped up in, I know I've wasted so much time feeling like I needed to tweak something in my programming, or there was something out there that was going to be better, or I hadn't quite got the perfect volume when I created my programming. And I honestly have been through I'm a perfectionist as well,
Really?
a serial perfectionist, but
Whoa.
gone through so many cycles of just starting over and over because there's something better. When just start. And then come September, you'll be 8 weeks into a program, and then you can learn from it. You can see what you liked, what you didn't like, and then go into the next one. But just starting and not faffing around with it is the most important thing by a mile.
Amen to that. We are anti-faff around here. The anti-faffers. So the next 2 points, we're going to keep it nice and short and sweet. We'll be completely transparent. Ben's got a call at 10:30 in 10 minutes with one of his clients. So we're going to fire blast through the next 2 points. This is classic Ben and Sophia last minute bodge job. So just to keep it super transparent with you guys. So the second thing that we wanted to talk about was your steps. And Ben, I think you should start with why actually it is so important to think about walking more, even if your goal isn't for fat loss.
I mean, I think you're actually a perfect example of it, Sophia, in that I know that for you, what you crave when you've been sat at a desk all day is a walk, isn't it? It's just, it's not, oh my God, I need to get out for a walk because I need to hit X step target. It's, I've not moved and this doesn't feel nice and I need to go and move my body and I need to physically move and I need the headspace. And you're just a perfect example of how if you can focus on building the habit of walking, you'll start to feel the benefits of everything that comes along with it. I've signed up with a coach. I've signed up to a fat loss program. I've been given an 8,000 step target, a 10,000 step target, which can feel quite arbitrary. Whereas if we focus on the habit of the walk, it's going to stick with us for life as we need it to, as it should. Walking is incredible for our heart health, to give I think what people would find the more boring side of it. It really is incredible for our heart health.
It's crazy, actually. I was thinking about this the other day, that I need to deep dive on some recent studies about the decline in general activity from general population. But you're right in that we are very much in a time where the majority of people work from home. We drive everywhere, especially if you are one of our US clients. You know, most people do take the car, or even in the UK, actually, you know, these days it's not as often that we're getting out on foot or taking a bike and getting out and moving. So
people think you're weird.
I know. If you walk everywhere, you're strange.
If you were going to walk half an hour somewhere, people would think it's really strange.
Yeah, why wouldn't you drive when you can get there much quicker? But this is the world that we live in, where things are expected to be faster and where we aren't encouraged to move freely as much as maybe, 50 years ago. And there are so many reasons why this is so important, as Ben just mentioned, for our heart health, for navigating and managing our blood sugar levels, for creating what we call, so there's a really cool little fluid, which is basically like lube for your joints, called synovial fluid, which runs around our body, and it really supports healthy joints, but also your mental health. So coming away from screens, getting vitamin D from being out in sunlight, increasing our serotonin, and another really interesting hormone called oxytocin, which is produced when we look at nature, because we're humans. And how fucking cool is that? We look at a tree and our body goes, that's a nice tree. And, you know, all of these hormones that can really contribute to positive mental health. I joke with my clients all the time about how I would be in a little wooden box if it wasn't for me being able to get out and go for a walk and move my body. And on a serious note, you know, it's true. My mental health would be in the fucking pits if I couldn't get out and move. And it has saved my life. I'll wholeheartedly say that it has saved me, especially in lockdown. I think going out and getting a daily walk in was my focus. It helped me massively with my anxiety, and something that moving our body in general, so whether you're walking or training, it's so beautiful the way that our body processes our stress hormones, our androgens, our cortisol. When we're moving, we're physically moving those hormones away from our body. Our serotonin is produced, which essentially, without going too deep into how the molecules work, it counterbalances our cortisol. And it's fantastic that the more that we move, the more that we are quite literally shifting that stress. We're encouraging the production of the hormones that make us feel great, and the impact of that on mental health is priceless. It's absolutely priceless.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think, again, if we talk about just starting, commit to it for a week. Just commit to a daily walk for a week, and you will really start to feel everything Sophia just described by the end of that week. And once you get into the habit of it, I think it's hard to imagine your day, your work day, without that activity. Because it feels crap. It feels horrendous.
Absolutely.
And finally, protein. What have we got to say about protein, Sophia?
There's so many cool things to say about protein. If you are somebody that is coming into a fat loss phase or planning to later on down the line, setting the foundations with good quality nutrition is going to be fundamental to make sure that when you do come into a calorie deficit, that you are not a hungry little bitch, and sticking to your calories is going to be even more challenging than you need it to be. So something that we always do with the start of a client journey is make sure that the quality of your nutrition is in a good place. So if you are feeling a little bit lost with what to do with your nutrition at the moment, and you're like, well, I can't track and I don't know how to put recipes together and I need the help from a coach in order to do that, start with your protein. If you can start layering in a good 20 to 50 grams of protein per meal, that is going to be a brilliant place for you to start, and will lay the foundations as to what you're going to be working on later on with your coach.
Yeah. And I think there's this stigma around protein, almost a negative stigma, I think, of people thinking that coaches want everyone's lives to revolve around protein. But it's because we want to keep things simple as possible. We want to have as fewer things as we are trying to think about in a day, in a week as possible. And if we focus on a protein target, and then we encourage our clients to break that down per meal, we're going to finish each meal feeling fuller. We're going to reach the point of fullness sooner in the meal, which is going to help us manage our portion control. We're going to feel fuller between meals. So we're going to feel fuller for longer after each meal, which is potentially going to reduce snacking, going to reduce cravings, going to reduce that feeling of, oh my God, I'm starving, hungry, and I've got 2 hours until dinner. We can put a protein-based snack in between meals. So just focusing on a protein target, there's so many other benefits that Sophia just went through. But when we're looking at it through the fat loss lens, it does so much for our portion control, our hunger, our fullness, and the structure of our day when we're just focusing on one metric and not having our clients think about hunger, think about fullness right off the bat.
Absolutely. And equally, if you are getting into the swing of training or muscle growth is a key goal for you, prioritizing protein is going to massively support your recovery and the steps to building muscle as well. So there are some amazing benefits. We've named very short few there, reasons as to why this is going to be a really great first step for you to focus on. So I think if we can summarize the points that we have spoken about today, is Number one, it's not too late to get started. Even if you are enjoying the height of summer, it doesn't mean there aren't still things that we can focus on. Number one, get yourself into the gym, get yourself training, get signed up onto the Bits app. If you haven't already, what are you doing with your life? Get it done. Number two, focus on your steps. Even if fat loss isn't your thing and you don't want to be working towards a step target, if you are in a bit of a shit mood or you just want to build the foundations of general health and well-being, great place to start. And then number three, focusing on your protein, not just for supporting your hunger, but for the other amazing health benefits that Coach Ben just mentioned there. And these three things will give you the foundations to then layer in any other health and fitness goals that you would like to later on. Or if you simply just want to be consistent with that, as Ben said right at the start of today's episode, it means that you are prioritizing those key pillars that are going to be able to support your general health and well-being.
100%. And come September, when you've got that itch to start again, you're already going to be 10 steps into that journey and be so much more likely to be successful in the next round of Blitz or in the next phase of whatever you're doing, instead of expecting future you to suddenly become perfect and do it all at once.
Absolutely. You're going to be supersonic and would have already set yourself up for success. Is there anything else that you would like to add in there, Ben?
No.
Gorgeous. Well, we're going to keep it short and sweet, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode of the Lift Shit
Get Banged
podcast. We will see you on the next one. Bye.
See you later, guys.